The tender coconut seed contains water, which will mature into the milk, and later into the white flesh or meat.
Which is delicious. And you got all of that water inside. Wow.
A good-sized coconut holds at least a litre of water. It contains more electrolytes than a sports drink and more potassium than a banana.
Okay, go on.
Next up, I'm carving out a camp and diving the depths in this desert island wilderness.
Okay, ready for timber.
I'm in the Torres Strait in the Western Pacific. Having come ashore on a small island with no resources, I've crossed shark-infested waters to reach a second larger island. I'm now heading into the jungle interior of the island in the hope of finding more sources of food and water.
These banana trees hold masses of moisture in them. It's just getting to it though. One way is just to take off a section of bamboo. Like this, it's hollow. Sharpen one end, put that straight in there. And that will be like a tap then, let the moisture come out of there.
In the tropics, it's a constant battle to stave off the slow physical decline caused by dehydration.
You see how wet that is already. What's underneath? And just leave it. Okay.
With a sustainable water resource in place, it's time to concentrate on my next priority and look for a place to make camp.
Look, this will do under here. Under this tree, you've got good natural shelter. And also good visibility out to sea still. You know, I don't really want to be in the jungle. That's where all the creepy crawlies and snakes are going to be. Try and sling up a bit of a hammock under here. Okay.
This tropical climate supports a wide variety of flora that I can use as building materials for my camp. And what doesn't grow here is often washed up by the sea. First off, I'm going to make a hammock by splitting this length of bamboo.
Work your way down it. I'll keep going about the length of my body. Along here.
I'm cutting the bamboo into several strips, which will act as supports.
And really, bamboo is the ultimate DIY jungle material. It's strong, it's flexible, easy to work with, and all the fundamentals of survival, fire, water, food, shelter, you can get from this stuff. Okay, so let that split, and let's put a bit of bend in it, splay it out, and that's going to be the basis of a hammock.
And once suspended, this will keep me safely off the ground.
Okay, it's going to work. Okay, that'd be good. A few coconut leaves on this, and that'll be good to go. Actually, it's probably worth putting up a simple windbreak here. Yeah, that sea breeze is strong. I don't want to get sandblasted all night. Okay, let's do that.
Palm leaves are plentiful and will provide me with some added protection from the powerful trade winds that blow through here.
Let's use some of this vine to bind it all together, stop it blowing away.
Split palm leaves are malleable and easy to weave into bedding.
Tie these just to keep it on there. Okay, so I'm off the ground. Got a little bit of bedding as well. Good, shelter done.
Now for my next survival priority, food.
Stinking bit of fish carcass. Like when it just been munched by a shark, and then the carcass taken by the birds. Dumped here or just washed up in the high tide. But a carcass like this is useful, full of bones that I can then make into a fishing hook.
Island survival is all about ingenuity, turning the useless into the useful.
Really sharp point to that.
Attaching the sharp bone to a piece of carved bamboo with paracord makes an improvised hook, and with that, there's a chance of catching fresh fish.
And then what you're left with is that. Load more line, and then let's go fishing.
But first I need some live bait. And there's one quick way to get a sardine from these shallows.
Look, here we go.
Throwing rocks into the water sends out shock waves, which stun but don't kill my bait fish.
Good. First little sardine on the hook. And then we'll get it in. Okay, let's get this guy out.
The waters around here are rich with sea life. Everything from 2-inch sardines to 20-foot sharks. Catching anything requires patience, but this is useful thinking time. And the brain is the most useful survival tool of them all.
And yeah, this is a nice time of the day for me. The heat's gone out of the sun. And I've got time just to think things through and come up with a plan for tomorrow.
There's an old Torres Island saying that the sea will provide, but at the moment, it's not providing for me.
There we go, something. Let's get him in.
Not a monster, but a decent-sized fish.
Yeah, it's a finger mark fish. See that? little like fingerprint. It's down there. Good. We've got supper at last.
I need fire to cook, and there's no shortage of firelighting materials.
Just these coconut husks. Always make good tinder. Fluff it up as much as you can, so it's really fibrous, a bit like a bird's nest. And then that should take a spark.
In the past, islanders in the Torres Strait would perform fire dances to thank the gods for the gift of fire. Here, it's as essential to life as water and air.
Okay, this should be cooked now.
Fresh fish, the best possible proof that in the end the sea does provide.
The one thing the sea doesn't have any shortage of is supplies. It's just not always easy getting to them. But for the desert island survivor, the key is making the sea your best friend. One thing I always try and do wherever I am in the world at night time is just to say my prayers for my family. And I think for the desert island survivor, one of the hardest things to endure is just that lack of companionship. So whatever you can do to bridge that gap and give you that sense of connection is going to help you.
In any survival situation, desperate times sometimes call for desperate measures.
See if we can grab him actually when he comes through. Get that, we won't need to eat for a week.
I've just spent a night on a desert island in the Torres Strait near Papua New Guinea.
Quite a crazy night. With all of those birds going non-stop in this tree. It's like living inside an aviary. So I'm just using a bit of this cuttlefish. It's just to sharpen my knife again. Put an edge back on it. The salt water's so corrosive here, anything's just going to rust out. Okay.
Time to get on. A new day means a new round in the endless cycle of desert island survival.
There's a sea cave. Always worth checking these out.
High tides bring all sorts of useful things into sea caves like this.
This is old netting. There's a load of it. I'm going to cut some of this netting. Super useful stuff. So much I can do with that.
I'm going to see if this cave leads through to the other side of the island. There's water in here, which means this cave floods at high tide, and I don't want to get trapped. But now, I've got clear daylight to follow.
There's an exit out here.
And I've spotted something else.
There's another island as well. Get out.
There's a third, even larger island ahead, which might be worth getting to.
Things is much further to that than it was to get onto this. Need to weigh up our options a bit here.
A few of the islands in the Torres Strait support small populations or Coast Guard stations, so this much larger island offers a genuine chance of rescue. It's not going to be easy to reach, but I've decided it's worth the risk. But before undertaking a journey like this, you want to ensure that you have the necessary energy to succeed, and that means being well fed and well watered.
See if this is filled up. Got a good amount in there now. You can still see it dripping out of here.
This banana water will rehydrate me and give me a quick shot of useful minerals like potassium.
Tastes like unripe bananas.
With a sustainable supply of water to return to, the next priority is food. The body requires a minimum of 1,000 calories a day to function, much more for an energy-sapping sea crossing. So I'm after a big catch, and back at the shoreline, I've noticed an increase in shark activity. This makes me cautious, but also gives me an idea.
Just seeing a lot of fins around in the shallow lagoon here. I reckon if I can get hold of a shark that's small enough, I might well be able to get it out and onto the bank.
Shark meat is a good source of protein, but for a lone survivor, catching one is a difficult and highly dangerous option.
Put a bit of bait out for them. Sea cucumber guts.
Sea cucumbers are animals that feed on decaying marine matter, but the sharks aren't going for their innards. Time for bait plan B.
They actually say that pee attracts sharks. The urine, see if that worked better than the guts of a cucumber.
Urine is a sign of distress in some sea mammals and might arouse the interest of nearby sharks.
Keep an eye out. So actually look, there's one coming in over there.
Finally, a shark is coming into the shallow water and within my range.
Just hold your ground.
You'd never want to try this unless there was no other choice. I'm going to try to catch it by the tail. This guy's probably 7 foot long. But make one mistake, and it could deliver a potentially lethal bite. I've missed him, and he's gone.
Man, they're fast. Oh, this is hopeless.
With a difficult and strength-sapping sea crossing ahead of me, there's still a need for high-energy food source. Time to move on and come up with a different plan.
There's some trash washed up here. Always a good place to find that sort of thing. On the windward point of an island, all the wind and the waves and the weather, driving stuff up onto the rocks. Bottle's always useful, look.
It doesn't matter how remote the place, you'll always find some man-made material.
A bit of flexible rubber hosing. That, though, could be really useful.
My discoveries have given me a new idea.
Almost everything that I'm hunting for or chasing is basically faster than me. But finding just something as simple as a bit of hosing like that is actually giving me the advantage back. It allows me to make a spring-loaded weapon. It's going to give me